job, in quote, that you do at home is valuable. If your husband is bringing in the money and you are taking care of the children and you're ensuring that the home is comfortable, the home is peaceful, the food that comes out of the kitchen is healthy, and all of that, I mean, then you should be satisfied that you're doing enough. You don't always have to contribute financially. I mean, if your husband is able to contribute enough, why should you be bothered about that? I don't think. I think that it's because, you know, a lot of us, we are very, very like independent. We're used to taking care of ourselves. We're, you know, we've done so many things before we met our husband. So we always want to prove a point, you know. But is it necessary? You already are carrying a whole lot. I mean, let him do his own. Pray for him so that he would always have enough money. I mean, and then you pray for grace to be able to do your own work excellently. You know, and another thing, talking about finance, one other thing I found really was is the issue of maybe not being able to afford some of the luxuries or the things that you would like, that you used to like to do or to buy, you know, in those days when, you know, you were working fully. I've learned that contentment is key, and letting a lot of things go. You know, not having, not buying that Ashrabi is not going to take anything away from you. Not being able to afford the gold and the jewelry and the nice designer bag, you know, that you otherwise would have bought with a flash, you know, in a flash. Not being able to do those things might hurt a little, but then you are also learning discipline. You're learning contentment, which is good. I mean, and it's not forever. I mean, a time will come where you'd be able to buy yourself whatever thing that you want to. I mean, it's just for a while. And those things, we don't necessarily need those things to live a fulfilling life. I mean, so we can put them at the back door. The time will come again where you can get yourself whatever you desire to.
So on a lighter note, there are some people that think that being a stay-at-home mom means that you are just sitting down and lounging.
Oh, I wish.
You know, you're just
I
doing,
wish.
Anything.
Yeah,
or
I wish.
Like, so what are you doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing? Have you had such experiences?
Oh, yes, yes.
You know, what would you say to people like that?
Yes, in fact, my friend, she's also a doctor, and she was like, when she had to take time out and be at home, she was like, time runs so fast. I can't believe that I'm at home and I still don't have time. Because there's a lot you want to do. I mean, even if you have the help.
Yes.
Except you don't want to be responsible for a lot of things and you just close your eyes and you just allow, you know, other people to run the house for you. Except you want to be like that. But if you are really doing what you should be doing, involved in running the house, involved in, you know, caring for the children, time runs very fast. I mean, I wake up, okay, my husband does school runs in the morning, thankfully. So, but I'm able to, I still have a baby, an 18-month-old who still needs me. And in between, I run off to the gym. By the time I'm back, I care for her. I try to plan my time, you know, get content for my blog, try to do some reading, try to do some personal stuff, getting things organized in the house. On the one side, I'm on a clock. By 1 o'clock, oh goodness, I just want to leave the house and get to the school on time to beat traffic so that I can pick the kids by 2 o'clock if they're not having after school activities, and then brace the traffic, try to be back home early enough. Work on homework. Homework can take between 1 hour to 2 hours. And on days where you have extracurricular activities, maybe you're taking the children for music classes, or they have swimming classes, or there's so many things that I mean, there's some things I can't even take my children for yet because of the, you know, the despairing age, because one would disturb the other. So I'm like waiting for, you know, that time that all of them, I'll be able to take all of them for swimming club, all of them for, there's so many things. And then you get off that and you prepare for dinner. You barely have time for yourself if you're not careful. You barely have time. So there's a lot. But if you've never been a mom, you may be around people who have children, but it never sinks in. I mean, before I had a child, I knew that, being a doctor and all of that, I knew that the care of a child involved a lot, but I was not prepared for the amount of time and the energy and the effort required to care for a child. I didn't, for the life of me, I didn't know that, it involved that much work. So if you're on the outside, you may never get it. And then even if you're on the inside and then you have a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 5, it's never a 9 to 5 anyway. It's usually like 7 or sometimes 6, because you leave home very early. And you outsource a lot of other things, to other people, and then you focus on work until you get back home at 5 or 6. And that time. So you may not even really understand it until you are home yourself. And involved in the work, and not to also, you also have to make a conscious decision not to be distracted by the amount of time you think you may have, and then get sucked into other activities, extracurricular activities, going for this event, going for that event, or perpetually in front of the TV, and then not doing what you should be doing. It defeats the whole purpose.
So now let's talk about what you think are drawbacks of being a stay-at-home mom. To you, your family, your children, what do you think?
I would say I would start from my parents, really. At first, they weren't particularly happy with it. And thinking about it now, I think secretly maybe it also had to do with finances. Maybe, if I'm not working and, they need financial assistance, where am I going to get it from? I think. I may be wrong. And then also in terms of self-actualization, fulfillment, I think they were concerned knowing the type of life, I was used to, and, my high-flying, career-oriented, because at a point my mom was concerned for me. She was like, aren't you concerned about getting married? Just from one thing to the other, aren't you concerned, And then I got married, and then now I'm caring for the children. I'm not even doing any job. So then they would always pray, you will get a good job, then you will. I'm not looking for a job, but they've come to terms with it now. And thankfully also I'm able, by God's grace, sort them out. I save. That's why I say it's important that regardless of how much you earn from your, token, I call it token, right? Or what is stipend? Let's be nicer. There's another word we were using before. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. From whatever you get, save. Because you will need it sometimes, if not for yourself, at least for the people around you. Anyway, so in that way, in that sense, that looked like a drawback. And then the second drawback, I would say, is your social life. You may have very little social life. So if you're the type that you like to party, you like to go out from time to time, you may not have time for a while. And it is always for a while. It's not, it's not the rest. But sometimes because we're like, for instance, in your first year, it's constantly what you do. You're in your house clothes. You don't look nice most of the time, even when you want to try to. You're totally focused on the children. It's for a while. It will pass. Okay, so in terms of social life, yes, it has this drawback. And then societal labeling, I think for most women, I think is really a big deal. And that's why you usually hear me say, I'm in a gap phase. When if I had to do any official work, because being a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that my mental capacity is shut down. No, I'm doing other things to improve myself. I'm online from time to time learning something new because I don't want to be left behind. Yeah. I'm learning a skill or the other. So I'm not fully focusing on my career. It doesn't mean that, I'm all totally, I'm a blockhead in quote, from being, professionally savvy. Yeah. Because that's the idea we have, maybe from growing up. And, when I was growing up, I never thought that I would be a stay-at-home mom. Because, what's the picture of stay-at-home moms that, they are always at home, tying one wrapper like that, doing one, cooking in the kitchen, doing one mundane job or the other. I mean, baking, doing all those things, and their children enjoyed the most, really, if we really look at it. But that societal labeling just makes you not want to, and a lot of women shy away from it. A lot of women don't want to work, but they don't want to be seen as, doing nothing, just sitting at home. But that's not what you're doing. So it looks like a drawback, really. But really it's not. I mean, if you think about it, the work of being a mom, it's a very important job. You are nurturing a human being. So how can you compare a 9-to-5 to nurturing a whole human being? You are instilling values. You are beyond the values that you are instilling in the child. You are ensuring that everything around your child's environment is safe in terms of food, safety, so many things. So giving your time, leaving time apart to focus on raising an emotionally, physically, mentally aware or capable human being is a whole lot of work, and it is commendable and should not be seen as a drab thing or an old-fashioned thing. No, if we have more women able to really focus on their children, if they're able to have the enabling environment and the ability to do that, we'd have a better society. That means we'll be bringing up adults, I won't say 100% adults, a well-rounded child who will now become, a well-rounded adult.
And I also asked about, being, I know you touched on it a bit now, saying that, you should be proud to, but the truth is that sometimes, even me sometimes I'm ashamed to say, I'm stay at home.
Yes, I get you.
From saying that,
because what they ask you to say, so what do you do now?
Right. So I'm a something manager before to now said, I just stay at home.
Yes.
I used to feel somehow.
But I think maybe we should change the narrative.
Come up with, I was to say, I'm a content creator, I'm a this,
exactly.
That. I have to just look for something. Like, what are you doing? What are you into? What are you?
Exactly. So what are you doing now?
I'm into my child.
When I hear the question, it always throws me off. No matter how often I hear it, it throws me off because you're trying to assess what the person is asking. Because for some people that get you, I'm focusing on the children, I don't like to say I'm staying at home because I'm not staying at home.
Yeah, you're working.
Really, I'm not staying at home. That gives a picture of someone who just sits at home, maybe is in front of the TV most of the time until it's time for school runs and, in between all the other. I don't